So we're going to start by doing our measurements to get all the right sizes and things we need for you. All right?
Okay.
Use these to help teach some other people what to do in measuring. So you're standing for us, and that kind of gets us the idea of what your normal shape and height and size are. I'm going to have you turn around. That's so you're not staring into my head, and I'm not staring into your tummy. Okay? That makes you more comfortable. So it's really easy to put a waist belt right around your waist. We like to use this a little stretchy elastic one. We take a minute just to be sure that we have it above your hip bones. Are you ticklish?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Okay. We have it level across the front. We can see that it's not really angled up or down. And then we want to stretch your shirt to get all your wrinkles out. If you're wearing tight pants underneath, that's fine, we'll leave them underneath. But if you were wearing something a little bit thicker and like a skirt or pants and a belt, we'd need to get that out from underneath of this. We want this shirt to be right over your bra and underwear, okay?
Okay.
Eliminates all the wrinkles, gets you the right shape. So we're going to start with our tape measure, and we're going to go around your hips to start off with. We have a measurement sheet here, I'll show you. So on the measurement sheet, we're going to start, you can see that right there, we're going to start here and go vertically. Then we'll go through our others, typically starting somewhere down and moving upward. So we'll start with the circumferences, that's going around you this way. I'm going to put the tape measure horizontally, and I'm going to feel at this bone right here. It's called your trochanter. So I'm using my hands, and I'm just kind of rolling in and pressing so I can find that. And that's kind of your widest hip level down there at the bottom. And I'm going to bring it across. And I'm not pulling it real tight, I don't want that, and I don't want it floppy loose. I want it just laying across the shape of your body. And then I'm going to get a value right now. And for you, that value is 86. So I'm going to write that value down over here. I normally have a nice person helping to write those down. So we're going to write down right there, 86. So keeping my thumb and finger with some tension on the tape, I'm simply going to slide that up a little bit, and I'm going to come right to this tickle bone, I call it. That's something called the ASIS, a funny name. And on the front, I can feel it, and I want to lay that right I'm going to move your arm over out of the edge, and it's right here, and I can feel it, and I'm going to lay that tape right across there. And then I'm going to get that value, and that's 82. Can you remember that for me? I'm going to go up just a little bit higher between the ASIS and your waist because your shape of your body changes slightly right through there. And I want to kind of get this sense of how much is that changing. And that's 79. So we had 82 and 79, right? Mm-hmm. All right, 79. So we're going to move up to your waist next. So I'm going over the top of that waist belt, so I know that's probably could be a little snugger. I don't want to over tighten, but I'm going to say that probably could be about 69 over the top of that one. And then I'm going to move up right to what we call your xiphoid. It's that spot right underneath of your sternum right there and just below your breast. And we're going to come straight across the back. Again, we're not tightening and pulling on that. It's just laying across you comfortably, not super loose. So 73. And what did we say this one was? Remember, 69?
79.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I was around 69. Yes, so 69 and 73. So we'll reach over there, 69, 73. So we got one more of these circumferences to go, so let's go up high underneath your arms. All right, now relax your arms for me. And I'm going to kind of push you over where you're a little bit straighter. And again, I'm keeping my thumb and finger on the tape measure on my left side, and I'm just bringing this across, and that's 75. Okay? That's circumferences. Now, while I have this tape measure in my hand, I like to have you just kind of stand up, and I feel right underneath your shoulder blades, and I measure that distance from underneath down to your waist, and I measured them both left and right because sometimes it's different. So see if you can remember this number, 13.5. And this one's a little higher. That one is 15.5. All right, so while it's fresh in our minds, let's go ahead and write it down. 75. And now I'm going to come across, and where it says inferior scap, I can do a left and right. So it was 13.5, right?
Yeah.
And what else?
15.5.
15.5, thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to go from this waist up, and then I'll go from this waist down. So these two, and then from here to here on that lateral. It's all because I have the tape measure in my hand, and it's easy to capture those while you're facing away from me. So 32. And going down, we want to come to the apex of the gluteus. We don't mind it being too long. This isn't exactly where the trim of the brace is going to be, but it is defining the point of the apex of the gluteus. So in your case, we want to be at around 18 to 19. And the average number there might be 20 for somebody just a little taller than you. All right, so what was this number? Do you remember? I don't remember. 30, 31, okay. And this one was about 18.5 to 19. So we'll put 19, 31. And while we're over here, we're going to put it right at your waist. We're going to find the top of this bone. This bone's got a funny name. Do you know what it is? It's called trochanter. So we're going to come right to the top of that trochanter. We don't want to be too high. We don't want to be down on the trochanter. So right at the top, we try to find that spot. And that's about 15 for you. Okay? That gives us the place we're going to cut the plastic off. So while you're still facing away, we get this scary looking device, this measurer that goes from side to side. Some people have called it my Tomahawk. And we're going to gently, again, just pull it up to your body without squeezing you. I don't want to squish you because that gives me a false reading. And I want this brace to fit nicely. So about 29.5. You remember these for me. The next one, I'm finding that front bone, ASIS again, and I'm at that level. So 28.5, and I'm finding that same spot where we took your circumference, 27.5. So we had 29.5, 28.5, and 27.5, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right, so 29.5, 28.5, 27.5. So we need to get your waist. Little squeeze there. That's okay to squeeze you there because we want a sense of push and release, a little tension but not a hard tension. So we're going to say 21. Now this one is important. This is on your ribs and this is where you tend to expand and breathe. So we want to firm. We don't want to squeeze you super tight there. So I'm going to say 23.5. And here we were 21, I believe, right? And 23. I'm going to actually change that to 23. Now we're going to come up to the top. And this is the one where I am going to squeeze you. I'm really going to see, does that come in a bit? So you're more like 22 up there, and you're just a little wider here at 23-ish. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to let you stay right there. We're writing this down, 21, 23, 22. So we've got all the ones from the back now. So we're going to turn you to the side. So we'll turn you this way, right there, and keep this hand up at that shoulder for me so it's kind of up there out of the way. And I'm going to bring you over. And now I'm going to go from the back to the front with my measurements all the way up. So these are called AP. That stands for anterior posterior measurements. Again, I don't want to squish you. I could squeeze you there, but I want to just lay it on gently and just bring it up to you. I find that measurement. Okay, so about 22, right at your trochanter level. So we want to find your ASIS again, right there. Is that a little tickly? All right, and again, find that measurement, 21, so 22, 21. From that, we're going to come to the side, and keeping the measurement device horizontal, we're going to find the apex, and we're just going, I'm going to turn you just a little bit this way, your whole body, from here to here. So we had 22, I believe, right? And we had 21, and now we're coming here. And again, that's a horizontal measurement with our tips just at the back end and at the front end without squeezing you. We don't want that. We want it just laid on right there, just lightly, and that's 14. So we're going to give you a little bit of a measurement there at the waist, so around 18 to 18.5. And this one again, not squeezing hard, I'm just laying it on, 18. And this one was 18. The last measurement up here can be done in a couple of ways. It's either to, if we're doing a kyphosis brace, but you could come in like this to get a sense. You could also come in like this to get a sense of that AP measurement. I'm going to tickle you right there on that bone. I'm feeling it, and I'm going to have you put your finger right there, this one, from the left hand, okay? So you feel it. And now this one right there, okay. Now I'm going to bring you over, good, and you hold that for me. And I'm measuring right between those 2 points on the apex of that little ASIS, okay? So about 21. Keep your fingers there. While they're there, I'll simply go from your waist belt down to that same point, and I'm going to measure about 11. Now this is a spot that a lot of people struggle with finding, number one, and then measuring accurately. So I tend to get people measuring them too short, so it's okay to measure them slightly longer, but the distance between them is really important. Now if you do have a patient with a lot of tummy, you don't have a lot of tummy, then what you could do is you could take your tape measure and then go from that point across the tummy like that, because it will be slightly larger number, and that represents that we've got a little bit of tummy right there. And the way we would show that was, what did I tell you this measurement to here was? 21?
Yeah.
Was it 21? So I'm going to put that right in my triangle. But let's just say you were a little bit large across there, and that measurement was 23. So that's called a topographical, and that shows me that you've got some shape, and I need to build that shape into your brace. Okay. Now you can relax those hands. Good job. You doing okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. Step forward just a little bit more. All right. So we're in the home stretch. So we want to make sure our waist belt is in the right place and it hasn't moved too much. It's at your waist. We want you just kind of elongate just a little bit. Just kind of be tall for just a minute. Don't let everything slouch down. That's good. So now we're going to get a measurement down to kind of the bottom, so around 14 there. We're going to go from your waist to that spot just below your breast or your xiphoid, and in your case that's about 12. We're coming right up to that NIP level, and that's 14.5. So I think we had 14, 12, and 14.5, right? So here we go, 14. We had 11 there. We had 12, 14.5. So we have 2 more to go. All right? So we're going to come up to the top, right at your, this is called your sternal notch. So from your waist up to your sternal notch. And that's 27. And last but not least, we want to lift your arm and bring you up and over. We want to exaggerate that a little bit. People are always measuring that just a bit too short. So we want to use the narrow tip of this device, and at your waist, you could use your tape measure, but you got to get that shoulder high like that. So in your case, we're at about 23.5 right there. What did I tell you that one was? Do you remember?
1, I think, or
I can't remember.
27.
Short memory. 27 sounds about right. And then this one was 23.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so high up underneath there, lifting the shoulder. We could even stretch it up and make it 24. Better to err on the side of a little bit too high. And that one was 27. Okay, so that's the essence of measurements. Now we want to assess, are you leaning? Do you think you're leaning?
Yeah.
Which way?
Yeah.
A little bit. Can you make yourself come up to the middle? Yeah. Can you do that all the time? I want you to work on that, all right?
Okay.
All right, I want you to work on that. So when you go there, your shoulders are pretty level, but when you're over there, which shoulder do you think's down? That one, yeah. So I want to assess you how you are, but I want you to work it. Stand in front of the mirror and getting yourself evened out up there, okay? All right, so I'm going to take on my measurement sheet and I'm going to say, yep, you definitely are leaning to the left. Yes, to the left. You don't wear a lift in your shoe, do you?
No.
So that's a no. And do you think that your pelvis is level? If I feel in here and if I look on your x-ray and those are even, then that means that they're level. If they're off, that means that they're not. Okay, and then last, I'm looking at your shoulders. So your shoulders are level, yes or no, depending on your position. So I'm going to say no, and then your right shoulder's higher. So Shelby, we're going to go ahead and do that forward bend thing called the Adams forward bend. So we're going to have you bend forward. So you're arching your back and letting your hands just dangle down nicely. Good. And that way we can look up your back this way and we can see if one side's higher or lower. And we then put this scoliometer on there to give ourselves a value. There's a little ball in there that rolls. And it looks like you've got about 3 degrees or so, 3.5, 4 degrees of rotation to the right here. As we come to the middle, we see about 5 degrees. And let those hands just dangle down for me if you can. Maybe a little bit more, 6 degrees. And now we're going to come to the lower part of your back. And we're going to feel the middle of your spine and put that in the middle of this arch. And we're going to see where we get the biggest value there. So that's about 5.5 degrees right through there. Okay? All right, and a little bit of a twist in your pelvis there, going the other way. So now we have those assessments and we can write those down. And that's called angle of trunk rotation. Come on up. Now, if we look at you this way, we notice that your waist is very straight on this side and it's more pronounced here because you're off to your left. So from the middle of your head and neck to the middle of your pelvis, we're aware that you're leaning to the left, or that's a big word called decompensation. So ideally the brace is going to help you get centered again, where the middle is over the middle. So we know that we have to move you. That's going to balance out your shoulders and your shoulder blades too.